what is the effect of restricting our diets or listening to an expert who says you really need to eat this way? You need to eat high protein, high fat, no carbs. You need to do fasting for a certain amount of time. And I kind of got sick of hearing it, to be quite honest. Across the medical studies, you can lose similar amounts of weight with any of these diets.
I mean, I don't think focusing on the numbers is for everyone either. I get someone that's not ready to change in my office, and I'm not going to say, okay, well then you need to eat 1,500 calories a day, and this is exactly how many grams of carbs, protein, fat. Some people, they're just not ready for that. But it's what small tweaks can we make over time, and what goals can we set together based on your readiness to change so that we can get you to where you want to go.
We're not talking about eating whatever, however much what we want to, or however much, we feel like we're craving at that moment.
I really think that we have to get back to food is fuel for your body, but it can be enjoyment as well.
Hi, I'm Dr. Doug Moretti, and welcome back to the Dr. Doug podcast. Thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to talk to Brittany Zaropoulos. She is a dietitian who just joined our practice, and we're going to address this issue with food. So this is a topic that's been huge on our patients' minds, and a lot of stuff out in social media right now on what we should be eating and how we should be eating it. So we've actually titled this podcast according to what our concept is around food. So joy in food.
Love that.
Rediscovering the pleasure in eating again. So, Brittany is a registered dietitian, grew up in Ohio, did her schooling at Ohio State University, and then dietitian internship at Barnes Jewish Hospital.
In St. Louis.
And has been a dietitian over 20
About 20 years. Yeah, already. Goes fast.
Yeah. So,
flies.
you told a story about how you started really cooking when your husband got sick.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. It's an interesting story.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really hard time in our lives. I think we were both in shock. You hear the C word and automatically your brain goes to the worst place. And Cancer is not a fun word to hear. Luckily, he had the type that's pretty curable. He had surgery, so he had thyroid cancer. And I actually got a call from one of my colleagues that day that he got diagnosed saying, Brittany, we would really like for you to cook at the Cancer Support Center of Arizona. And I said, oh my goodness, you have no idea. I just got the call from my husband that he had that diagnosis of thyroid cancer, and this is going to be so therapeutic for me to do. So I was really excited to start that journey, and the people I worked for, the Cancer Support Center, were amazing. They really helped me get through that time with my husband and going through what he had to go through with the surgery and kind of the radioactive iodine and all the scary stuff that he had. They helped me through it. So I was really, really happy that I got to teach them how to cook at home. And a lot of them said, I never liked vegetables until I started cooking with you because you made them just in such a fun way, and you designed the plate in such a way that was so colorful and pretty that we wanted to do it at home, and we loved how they taste, so we continued to do it after. So that was a really
great story,
really impactful time in my career. I just had my babies. I was kind of looking for something to do on that time, and so I was really glad that she called me. I feel like it was fate. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you, actually, and it's great to have your energy.
Thank you.
And your brightness.
Thank you.
So you're a great person. You do a lot of cool stuff.
Thank you.
Play tennis.
Yes, I love tennis.
Go hiking, active outside. You've got the 2 kids, so we talked about how you take the kids to the farmer's market.
Yes.
And you go shopping with them.
I love to take them to the farmer's market. I love to cook with them. I actually used to have a garden But I don't have the best green thumb, I'm going to say. It's okay. But in the summer, I'm going to blame it on the heat. All my vegetables seem to
Pretty
die.
tough.
But when they were great and flourishing, my kids loved it because we would grow lettuce and they would pick the lettuce and we'd bring it in and we'd tear it up and do a salad. And they would be more likely to eat the salad because they made it with me. And so I feel like anytime you have kids or family you want to get involved in the kitchen, have them start from the beginning of the process, either at the farmer's market or at the store, and then take it home and have them do age-appropriate things in the kitchen to get the meal out. And once the meal is out in front of them, they're way more likely to eat it rather than if you just kind of say, here, eat these vegetables. They're like, I didn't have any part of the process. No, I'm not gonna. But if they've helped, they definitely will. That's what I'm finding.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So as background here, diet is really mythical.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at social media and you're seeing stuff on carnivore, keto, low fat, low carb, ultra low calorie. And which diet should you choose?
You know, that's a good question. I always say look for red flags. And if there's red flags, like they're taking out major food groups, that's probably not the thing that you can do forever. So if you can't do a meal plan forever, is it really worth doing it? Because you're going to have to stop it. And when you stop something like, remember the Atkins diet, you know, you gain it all right back. And is that something that you're going to want to kind of keep doing is, okay, I'm going to go Atkins, and I'm going to lose a ton of weight, and then I'm going to gain it all back, and then I'm going to have to do it again and again and again. Whereas if you don't cycle your weight, you're actually going to keep it off for a longer time. So I always individualize the plan for the person. I look at their family history, I look at their medical history, and I really sit down and talk to them about what's realistic for them and their lifestyle.
So this is the whole topic of today. How do we have joy in our food?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this preparing and wondering, what is the effect of restricting our diets or listening to an expert who says you really need to eat this way? You need to eat high protein, high fat, no carbs. You need to do fasting for a certain amount of time. And I kind of got sick of hearing it, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But I've looked at all the medical studies. I mean, across the medical studies, you can lose similar amounts of weight with any of these diets. You could even do an ultra processed food that's calorie controlled with bars and other things and lose weight.
Of course.
It's possible to do. But what effect is that having on us? And what is the healthy way for us to interact with food?
Yeah, I mean, the major word that comes to mind is metabolism. And when you are doing things like restricting your calories to so low of a level that you're losing muscle instead of fat, because your body's like, where is the food? And it's trying to store and hoard all the things that you're eating. And then you end up losing muscle instead of fat when you're doing too low protein, too low calories, too low carbs. I think that people really need to understand that your metabolism is going to work most efficiently when you're giving it what it needs, and really looking at your resting metabolic rate is key. Because if you're not looking at that, I could be the same size as someone else but have a lower RMR than they do. So I think it's really important to kind of look at body comp, resting metabolic rate, and get the calories just slightly above where they need to be as far as a little bit over the resting metabolic rate. And then we factor in lifestyle, right? And we factor in, are you a construction worker? Are you sitting at a desk the whole day? What are you doing during the day?
Daily activity levels.
Daily activity. Yeah. And then we have to factor in, obviously if they're exercising, are you doing these really big challenges where you're, lifting 500 pounds and things like that? Or, are you just walking a little bit? So we always have to factor in the exercise, their lifestyle, and their RMR. And then once we do that and we get their total output, we can manipulate that number, a little bit lower them that, obviously, to lose weight. Or if they want to maintain, then we keep it the same. Or if they want to gain, maybe they're a teenager trying to gain weight, then we have to go a little over. But you don't ever want to restrict, because I feel like the restriction is not where it's at for the metabolism. And you're going to kill your metabolism over time. And again, get in that vicious rut of that diet cycle. I have to diet over and over and over again. It's just not good.
Yeah, there's actually pretty good studies showing that when people lose weight, their metabolism naturally goes down.
Mm-hmm.
But when they lose weight quickly or do a really fast weight loss, it goes down even more.
Yes.
So there's a lot of controversy about this. I want to get to it in a different podcast or a different post. But there's a lot of science around that, and it's a really interesting topic.
I agree.
As we talk about all of these technicalities with diet, all the numbers, the RMR, the calories per day, your activity level, it seems really technical, but is there a way that we can still enjoy our food and not just focus on the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think focusing on the numbers is for everyone either. I get someone that's not ready to change in my office, and I'm not going to say, okay, well, then you need to eat 1,500 calories a day, and this is exactly how many grams of carbs, protein, fat. Some people, they're just not ready for that. So you really have to look at how can we get you in a happy place with your eating, really enjoying your food, but we're not being so restrictive with your calories. We also don't want to frustrate you either, right? So it's not just keep doing what you're doing, but it's what small tweaks can we make over time, and what goals can we set together based on your readiness to change so that we can get you to where you want to go. And a lot of people thrive with that because they said, oh my gosh, Brittany, you came alongside of me. You helped me in that way, rather than just sitting there and telling me this is what you do. It's just exactly the same as when you throw that salad in front of your kid, right? Eat this. And it's like, no, I don't want to. But if they come alongside you, or your patient comes alongside of you, they're going to be way more likely to do it. So it really depends on readiness to change as well.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're finding what that person would really enjoy.
Yeah. The foods that they enjoy, even their culture, what food really brings you comfort. And if it's something really unhealthy, maybe we can modify it a little bit and get them some healthier options. And I really want it to be something that reminds them of their upbringing or their childhood or happy memories, happy times, because so many times it's tied to guilt and it's tied to shame, and that's never fun. So you really want to get back to the joy of eating again. How can we make you sit and enjoy your plate? So eating isn't a chore, and it's not something you hate to do. A lot of people say, well, I hate to cook. I don't want to cook. And I just say, you know what? Let's set the mood. Let's get some flowers in there. Let's get some music playing, put on a really fun apron, get the colors bright. And then they love cooking all of a sudden. So that's another thing I did with the cancer support people that really worked, was get them in aprons, have them hands-on, have them, okay, here's some candles, here's some flowers, here's some music. And they're like, all of a sudden, we love this. This is relaxing. This is something fun to do. So I think if you think in your mind, I hate cooking, I don't want to do it, you're not going to want to do it. But if you think in your mind, okay, I'm nourishing my body, and this is the thing that I do to nourish my body, and I'm going to make it almost a ritual every day, then you're more likely to do it and do it the right way.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's the right way to approach things.
Yeah.
I think that's what bothers me so much when I hear experts in the field who have written books and talked in tons of places and own their own institute, and they're telling people you have to eat one single type of food. I don't think it's right for everybody.
It's not.
Maybe some people would like keto, or maybe some people would really like that regimented diet. But I think the key is to find what they would like and what they would be able to do well with.
Yeah, work with them. It's not a cookie cutter approach. And I think the more you individualize and tailor it to someone, the more special they feel, and the more time that they feel like you've put in, and they're going to really want to come back to you, rather than just saying, oh, yep, here's this one for you, this one for you, this one for you, and it's all the same. Obviously, that's just not special, and it's not tailored. So really tailoring it to the individual. And yeah, maybe it is something different than what you originally would have thought for that person, but that's okay. I think sitting down with someone face to face, looking them in the eye, talking to them about what they really want in their meal plan is so important. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I do what I do. Because I feel like so many of the times doctors just throw things at them that they don't want. And they say, I can't do this. How am I supposed to eat 1,200 calories a day when right now I'm at 1,800 calories a day? I'm going to starve to death. So I think it's like, well, how can we meet in the middle? How can we come alongside each other and really work as a team? I think that's so super important.
Let's talk for just a second about this concept of restriction and how it affects people. I did a little bit of digging and found multiple studies that suggested that depression levels go up if you that it's more likely to have depression in people who are following a very low calorie diet.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it would happen to you or anybody specific. Anxiety over restricting certain food types and feeling shame around eating certain foods.
Oh, yeah.
And even developing eating disorders around just trying to stick with a regimen and knowing that it's super tough.
Yeah.
And then slipping into this eating disorder. So tell me your thoughts on the mental effects that you've seen of restricting diet.
Sadly, I see that all the time. And obviously, if you're taking something like nourishing your body away from someone and saying you have to eat hardly anything and you're going to be happy on this, and they're like, wait a minute, no, I love to eat. Joy, I just have so much joy when I eat. You take that away from them, obviously they're going to feel those depression and anxiety thoughts. It's like you take milk away from a baby, they're going to cry, right? I mean, it's kind of the same concept. So I really think that we have to get back to food is fuel for your body, but it can be enjoyment as well. And how do we kind of meet in the middle as far as, you don't want to have too much enjoyment where you're not getting your results and then you're super frustrated, because that's depressing too. But how do we get you the right foods in what you like in the right portions, and combining it with other things, right timing, right combination, right portions, super important. And so that you're not too restrictive and not getting depressed. Because depression, I think, can also come from stress eating. That's a lot emotional eating. They feel like they beat themselves up every single time that they eat because they're overwhelmed, and they say, oh gosh, I did it again. I ate a donut when I felt stress at work, and now it's that shame cycle. I did it yesterday, I did it today. Whereas sometimes it's having them just replace old habits with new habits, which is a really good technique. And it doesn't even have to be a food habit. It could just be, okay, next time you get stressed at work, maybe you go and take a walk around the block a few times. Bring some hot tea with you if that's going to help you feel a little more satiated. But we got to find those things that work for the individual. And some people love that. And some people say, well, I still want a snack at that time. And I'm like, well, then it doesn't have to be a donut. You could bring your own snack or something that you've made, like a protein ball that's sweet, but it's not going to be the donut where you feel that shame spiral.
Yeah, so you're talking about fueling your body so that you actually have energy to get through your day.
Yep.
You're not miserable.
Right.
Physically you feel good.
Yep.
And then mentally to come along with that as well, so that you're feeling mentally stable.
Yes, it all fits hand in hand. I mean, a lot of people do tie emotions with food, and it stems back from childhood. A lot of the times people say, well, I will not eat whatever. I had someone that wouldn't eat apples because their mom forced them to eat apples every single day, like a full apple, or else you can't have dessert after dinner. And like, okay, well, I don't eat apples now. So there are emotional connections to food as well that we have to acknowledge. And I even ask them those types of questions, what type of aversions do you have? Or, what types of foods do you avoid and why. I talk about that in their initial consult. So
That's a really good thing for people to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Even make note of before they go
Right.
in and visit with the dietitian or while they're thinking about their food.
Mhm.
Figure out which ones are triggering those emotions.
Yes. And journaling can really help with that. I think journaling can help with a lot of different things. But I find that with food, it just really brings to light, it doesn't even have to be a strict calorie, carb, protein, fat journal. It could just be, okay, today I ate this and I felt this way when I ate this food. And that kind of helps them with those emotions tied to food, good or bad. And, we kind of navigate that when we talk the next time after they've journaled. So that's a really good tool that I use that I really like to see.
Yeah, that's
in
a
the office.
good actionable tool that they can use.
Yeah.
You've talked a lot in the past about stress eating.
Mm-hmm.
Brought that up just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we're talking about having joy in food, how do we look at stress eating and kind of just evaluate that? Do I stress eat? What are my triggers? Like, how do I even start with that?
Yeah, like I said, journaling can really help. When you feel like you're stress eating, it really can help to write down when you're doing it. Like maybe I'm at work when I stress eat. Why am I doing it? What's triggering me? Is it a certain assignment that I had? Is it a certain coworker when they come by? A lot of the times when I worked at American Express, corporate nutrition, and people would say at 3:00 every single day, that was my time to go to the M&Ms, and I would get the M&Ms off of my desk and I would eat them. And I'm like, why 3:00? They're like, I don't know. That was just my time. That was my habit. That's what I did there. So they would tie that stress, to the chocolate. And they thought the chocolate was helping them. I'd ask them, I said, did that really help you? Did you feel better after eating it? And they said, no. Every single time I felt guilty. I felt more stressed that I'd eaten the M&Ms than I was before. And then I was mad at myself. I said, you know what? Write that down. And then try something else tomorrow. Maybe you bring something like a trail mix and maybe it does have a few M&Ms in it. Who knows? But at least you are kind of replacing that old habit with something different. You're bringing something new. It's portioned out. So you're not just mindlessly eating those M&Ms. And hey, there's almonds in there. Maybe there's some dried fruit you can add in. And then they say, oh my gosh, when I did that, I felt so much less stressed. And there's not that shame with the eating of the chocolate and the M&Ms at 3:00 every day. So I think there's something to that.
We all have felt that shame. I think some people feel it more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people it's really strong for.
Yeah.
Like it's a serious, overwhelming mental feeling like, oh, I'm horrible now because I just ate that donut.
Right. And it's good or bad. And I like to not say foods are good or bad. I like to say, how can they fit into your life? And I really do like an 80-20 rule. Most of your day, you want to eat stuff that's healthy, that's balanced, that's nutritional. But if you want that 20% or to be not perfect, I say give yourself a bank account. And that could be 200 calories for women or less a day of maybe something that they really, really, really want. But when it's gone, it's gone. It's your bank account. So you get 200 calories to spend. And, you had that glass of wine that you really wanted. Okay, that's great. But when it's gone, it's gone. And then the rest of the day, just trying to eat very mindfully. And you can still have some of the things you really enjoy and that you really like. But we have to maybe put a little bit more spin on a healthy version of them. And I help them with that too.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I've seen that people, I had a patient come in and he was kind of younger. He hadn't identified any foods that he was eating that were unhealthy, at least he told me. And he came back the next time and lost 10 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, I just stopped eating my potato chips.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's people out there that are eating way too many calories and not even realizing it because they haven't really thought about it enough.
Yeah, they're not mindful about it.
That's a first step, right? It's not like an advanced level where you're saying, I'm going to go from 1,900 to 1,800 calories. It's not like that precise.
Right.
But identifying those foods like the glass of wine or some kind of treat and giving yourself a bank account,
Yep.
I think is brilliant. You know, it gets rid of a ton of extra calories that you don't need.
Exactly. And it gets rid of that stress of, because when you're able to graze and left to your own devices, maybe you say, gosh, I'll have one donut, now I'll have another donut. And then all of a sudden you're at 600 extra calories of donuts. But if you say, no, you know what, I really want that donut and I'm just going to keep it to one because I know that fits into my discretionary calorie bank account, then that's perfect. Yeah. So I really feel like we got to take that shame spiral out of the question for people and make it more of a joy.
Yeah. So we're talking about making eating fun again.
Yep.
And mentally healthy, just the way we're looking at the whole thing, just our perspective.
Yeah, your perspective's huge. And, really there is so much tie to the gut and to the mind. There really is. And a lot of people, when they're not eating right, don't even realize that they're causing more depression because there's, all that inflammation constantly and they don't feel good. And so really trying to figure out too, what foods do you feel best with and write it down, and I think if you start writing it down in a journal and you really find out, oh, when I eat fruit with protein, I feel excellent versus when I have the M&Ms. Boom, I'm going to start bringing that snack every single day now because I know I'm replacing that old habit with a new healthy habit that's going to be better for my overall nutrition and for my overall health. I always say you have to know why it's important for you. If you don't know why it's important for you, you're not going to do it. So that's one thing I talk about when I'm motivational interviewing with someone is, why are you starting this? Why do you want to change? And if it's, well, the doctor sent me and I have to, then you got to dig a little deeper and say, well, okay, but are you trying to prevent any sort of disease that's in your family? What kind of diseases are in your family? And they say, oh gosh, well, my grandpa had diabetes. I really guess I don't want that. And well, why not? Well, I want to live a long time. I have grandkids. And then you start getting a little bit deeper and deeper. You peel away the onion layers, right, as you go. So I really like the motivational interviewing because it really meets people where they are. And, you're not going to give them something that is overwhelming to them if you're really meeting them where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought up earlier or before when we were chatting about the hunger and fullness scale. Mm-hmm. And I just want to clarify, as we're talking about food and trying not to restrict and enjoying it.
Yeah.
We're not talking about eating whatever, however much what we want to, or however much, we feel like we're craving at that moment. Right. But I feel like if we can use this hunger and fullness scale, as you've talked about before with me, then maybe we can make some improvements without having to get too technical.
Yeah.
But describe to me how you've used that with your patients.
Yeah, it's a scale from 1 to 10. The little emojis are very helpful because it has, like the little, like, big-eyed guy, like, oh gosh, I'm really hungry, all the way to the green guy that's sick because he's going to throw up because he's had too much food. So that's the 10 that we're like, okay, that's too much food. You don't want to be there. You want to be somewhere in the middle. But I think if you kind of think about the mindful eating, and I'm really going to close my eyes, I'm going to really taste this food. I'm really going to feel the texture of the food in my mouth. I'm going to enjoy it. It really helps with slowing your eating down. And when you slow your eating down, you might realize that you're full way longer than if you didn't slowly eat. Think about if you eat really, really, really fast, then you're like, oh gosh, I'm still hungry. But if you really slow it down, I think that people realize I'm full and I don't really need the rest of what's on my plate, especially when you're eating out. There's such huge portions when we eat out these days, and it's hard to know what a true portion is. And a lot of people have been told, I have to clean my plate. I have to clean my plate. I cannot waste money. And so what I tell the people that do that is, before you even start eating, ask for a box from the waitress, put half of that in the box, put it to the side, and then eat what you will and see when you start really feeling, okay, I'm satisfied, I'm full. And that's where you stop. You don't want to stop where you're overly gouged or feeling sick. You want to stop right where you say, okay, I feel satisfied. I can move on now. And then a lot of the times people don't even want that. They're like, we'll take it home for the next day. I don't need that. I don't need to keep going. So that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, those are some good ideas.
Yeah.
So the hunger and fullness scale really, it's something I don't think we do great as a society in America at eating only till our hungers is satisfied.
Yep. I don't think we do either.
A lot of us just chronically overeat, and it's hard not to, but it helps us to be more mindful
for sure
about things.
Yeah.
Those are things that I struggle with personally too. I think we all struggle.
We all do.
We all struggle, especially if food is placed in front of us, just dropped in front of us. Here's a box of donuts.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
You know.
Happy birthday.
Okay, hunger and fullness scale. It's kind of technical, but I think it's worth thinking about. I also learned, I can't even remember where I learned this, but if you start to get a little runny nose, that means you're full.
Huh. Actually, I haven't heard that before. That's cool.
I remember my dad blowing his nose when we were eating out a lot, because we'd go out to Mexican a lot, maybe the spice or something like that. He'd blow his nose and then he'd keep eating.
He's like, I'm not going to pay attention to that cue.
I don't know if it's very scientific. I can't remember where I learned it, but think about it. If that happens to you, think about where you are in your fullness.
Yeah,
and see where you are.
That's awesome. That's something I never would have thought about. That's cool that you brought that up, though.
Mindful eating, you brought that up, and you've touched on it just a little bit, but explain what mindful eating is, and how that plays into how we should enjoy our food.
Yeah, so mindful eating is really enjoying the art of eating. And it's really taking that time. Remember, I said slow down. Slowing down is one of the biggest things we can do. So there's a few tips that I like to tell my clients, my patients, to do. One of them is talking to your family and actually sitting at the kitchen table with your family, looking your family in the eyes and asking them how their day was. Ask them what they like about the meal, maybe what they don't like. I'm constantly asking that of my kids, so I'm perfecting the menu over time. But really talking to them. And the other thing is making sure you have a glass of water next to your plate so that you can put your fork down, take a sip of water, keep talking to your family, put the water down, pick up the fork, do it again. But I think sometimes we just do this. Okay, we're done. What's next? Oh, now it's ice cream. Now it's this. Now it's like, no, we got to really enjoy the texture and really keep that food in your mouth and chew it for longer than you ever would think. So that is actually a really good weight loss strategy, because you slow down so much that signal from your stomach to your brain gets sent that, hey, I'm full, a lot quicker when you eat slowly. So definitely doing that. If you don't have family, still I would eat at your table or somewhere very relaxing, and I would not eat in front of the TV if you're alone, because what happens is you're paying attention to the show that you're watching and you're not paying attention to what you're putting in your body or how fast you're eating. So you're going to tend to eat a lot more than you should. And it's probably going to be, okay, now that's gone. I want more, and going up for seconds or thirds because you're not really feeling that cue of fullness. So just a little advice, make sure that if you're alone, you're not eating in front of your TV, still eat at the table and make it an experience. Light some candles, get some flowers for yourself.
That's a good idea.
Just really make it like it's like you're at a restaurant or something like that. And take time to savor the flavors of the food. I know that sounds corny, but you got to savor the flavor.
Savor the flavor.
Yeah, because whoever made it hopefully made it with love, and Hopefully lots of seasoning. Hopefully it tastes good. Now, if it tastes bad, you don't have to savor the flavor. You can just eat it really quick. Or do that, what was it, Christmas Vacation, where she throws it and acts like she's eating it. But if it's good food, actually savor it and enjoy it. That's really important.
So I just had this thought as you were talking, thinking about eating with your family and enjoying it, making it an experience.
Yeah.
What kinds of memories do you have, and do all of us have, I guess, about our childhoods or our past? Do you have a lot of memories around food?
You know, I really, really like soup. That's one of my favorites. And I realized the other day, the reason I like soup so much is because my grandma used to make it with me. We would make homemade chicken and noodles soup. And she would actually do the broth with the chicken, you don't buy the broth, you have to actually make it, and you have to simmer it, and it takes time, and you have to roll out the dough, and you have to cut it a certain way. And so I, to this day, am obsessed with anything like that, especially when I'm sick. And when my kids are sick, I want to make that same recipe for them. So that's probably one of my happiest memories, is just being at my grandma's house in her kitchen. So I think that whenever you can get your kids involved with making food with you, they're going to have such a positive outlook on that food later and a positive experience. So get in there. It doesn't have to be chicken and noodles. It could be something totally different. And maybe ask them, what's a food that you would want to make with me that you would really enjoy, that we could make together? And then, again, make it an experience. Get some flowers, get some candles, get some music. Make it a whole thing. And then that's going to trigger the memories for them. And they're going to say, oh, man, I really liked that. That was really fun because it was special. And we put time and effort into making it. And food is love. Food is love. If you make food the right way, people are going to taste the love in your food. And your kids are going to remember that. So I know that sometimes it can be stressful and you come home from work and you're tired and you don't want to do it, but still do it because your kids will definitely remember. Hate to tell you, but they will remember. So if you're just kind of like, oh, I hate this and this is going to this is going to ruin my day, it's stressful, and then you put all that on a plate, they're going to taste the lack of love in there on the plate. So just make sure you really try to make it doesn't have to be gourmet, it doesn't have to be a 10-course meal, but whatever you are making, make it special and make it with love.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I agree too. Food shows people how much you love them.
Yeah.
I think back to these corny little Italian movies. Maybe not corny, they're just like movies where there's Italians making food. They're all gathered around the table. They're all making the food. They're all arguing about everything. Yeah. And they love the whole process.
Exactly. The sauce has been simmering for like 4 hours. They're tasting the sauce, making sure it's good. Yeah. I mean, there really is something to it. Do you have a memory like that too? Anything that you can think of?
Well, I remember Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah.
And just the spread.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was an experience.
It really is.
So,
and you remember what everyone brings. Like, okay, Grandma brings this. Uncle brings this. My uncle made the pies. My grandma usually would bring something like a salad or a nice noodle dish.
Yeah.
My dad did the turkey typically. I mean, it's just such positive memories.
Yeah. I think we can create that for our families too. Mm-hmm. And if you're living alone or if you don't really have any family, you can still create that in some way.
Yeah. And you can maybe even freeze it after. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to make all that for myself. I'm like, make a few dishes. And if you have leftovers, either give it to someone in need, take it to someone on the street. That could be something helpful. Or just freeze it. And then you can have it for a little while. You can eat off that Thanksgiving dinner for a few days. But you got to make something. Even if it's just a sweet potato dish with a little turkey. You got to make something that day.
One funny little story is one of my sons, before he left home for a little while, and it was August, and his request was Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Because he was going out of the country. He wasn't going to be around for Thanksgiving. So
That's a really cute story.
We made Thanksgiving dinner in the middle of August.
Perfect.
It was really cute.
Oh, I love that story. Thanksgiving in August. Do it. Yeah. You got to really create those experiences for your kids.
Yeah.
You really do. They'll remember it. I know you think they won't, but they really will. And that time you took taking him into the garden or taking him to the farmer's market, putting on those aprons together and really cooking and talking while you're doing it, and then, enjoying it. We made ice cream the other day. Yes, dietitians love ice cream too. We made homemade ice cream, and the kids love it because it's something that we all do together. And I have each kid put in certain things to the ice cream. So we did fresh strawberry ice cream, and it was like the best thing. And my son is obsessed with it. He's like, I don't want to eat any other ice cream. It's strawberry homemade ice cream for me. I'm going to make this for my kids one day. So again, it's all tied to those happy memories, those happy times together. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the healthiest things. You can make some things that are, pleasurable and joyful.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as portion controlled, it's within reason.
Yeah. So, as you're meeting with your dietitian locally, and talking about what your food choices should be, where your calories should be contained to, and what kinds of foods you can eat, then you can decide, what's the right amount of splurge, or how do I create this joy in food around what my medical needs are or my nutritional needs or something else like that. So
exactly.
Everybody's going to have a different way that they have to approach it.
Exactly. And that's where I come in. And I think that's why you should get a dietitian, really, is because it's not a one size fits all. It's not just go online and look up the next diet that's popular. It's sit down with someone that understands your medical history, your family history, what you have going on, and will tailor it to you and your preferences and your lifestyle. So I love being a dietitian. I'm just so passionate about it. I could go on and on and on about it.
Well, we've talked so much in our practice, having our chef do cooking demonstrations and spreading recipes and just talking about healthy food experiences, about not being on a diet.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of... I think it's cool to have this anti-diet culture.
I love it. I hate the word diet. I don't even use it. I say meal plan or lifestyle plan because that's what it is. I mean, diet just sounds restrictive, and already people feel so, I have to go on a diet, They're defeated before they even start.
Drag, isn't it?
Yeah. And so if you say meal plan and lifestyle, they're like, oh, these words just sound so much better than here's your diet. That just gets old. So I like to say lifestyle. I don't know. I think that mindful eating should be the new word for diet. We're going to be mindful about what we put in our body. Maybe a little bit more clean eating, whatever you want to say. But as long as you just don't say the D word, we're good.
Definitely don't say the D word.
Yeah, definitely don't. Yeah.
So what's the healthiest way, do you think, to approach food?
Always coming at it as prevention of disease, I think, is a really good place to start. So when you're looking at your current meal plan, look at, am I getting enough variety in my meal plan? Because when we look at cancer and things like that, there's so many vitamins in all the different fruits and vegetables. I talk about a lot with my kids how different colors mean different vitamins and minerals. So, okay, I know you like apples, I know you like bananas, but what's a new fruit that we could try that has purple in it that maybe you haven't tried yet besides grapes, and so that's when we go to the farmer's market and they're like, what's that thing? I'm like, oh, eggplant. We're going to make eggplant tonight because it's a different color than you're used to having. So I really think that approaching to nutrition should be trying to get a variety, not just eating the same things all the time, and really within your fruits and vegetables trying to get different colors. So Eat the Rainbow is one of my things I say, especially to kids, because, you know, you want to have orange and red and yellow instead of just white and tan. You know, you want some color on your plate. So the more colorful and beautiful you can make your plate, the more nutritious it's going to be, the more vitamins and minerals you're going to be getting. So I think that's a great place to start for almost anybody, really taking a hard look at what you're doing now and saying, am I eating just the same things all the time? And am I getting enough nutrients from what I am eating? And then trying to figure out where can I tweak it and where can I really expand and get different colors and vitamins and minerals in my diet.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
in my lifestyle plan. I caught myself. In my lifestyle plan.
there you go.
In my meal plan.
The D word.
Yeah, the D word.
Be gone with it. So you're talking about, fueling your body.
Mm-hmm.
Fueling your body so that you can feel good, that you have the energy you need.
Yeah.
That your brain is working well.
Yeah. A lot of brain fog occurs.
Yeah.
Do people talk about that with you? It's
Yeah.
like, I can't even think. Sometimes people are in my office and they're like, I can't even think of anything. Like, I feel like I just am constantly like, what was that word that I was thinking of? Why did I go into this room in my house and I'm standing here and I don't know why I'm here? And they get this brain fog. And I say, are you eating right? You know, are you eating every 3 to 4 hours? Are you eating balanced choices? You know, are you getting enough fruits and vegetables? Are you getting enough sleep and water too? Because it could be dehydration or just, you know, you're a little bit tired too. But fueling your body is so important for your brain. It really is. And fueling your body the right way is important for your brain. So that foggy brain is a real thing. And if you're experiencing that, just try to eat every 3 to 4 hours more healthy and balanced choices. So when I say balanced, I mean a healthy high fiber carb, a lean protein, and a healthy plant-based fat every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day.
Okay.
That's going to be more balanced.
I'm thinking about people listening and thinking, well, what if I want to do keto?
Mm-hmm.
Or what if I want to try carnivore?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I want to go vegan or something like that.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to people who would have a preference to try one of those meal plans?
I'm not opposed to having them try it and seeing how they feel on it, because sometimes, who knows, maybe they'll see some initial weight loss and things like that. And if they try it and they say, you know, but I still had that brain fog, or I still feel, then they'll know it's not right for them. But you can't go on those things forever. You just can't, because eventually your body's going to say, I need something other than meat on the carnivore diet. And you're going to need those vegetables and fruits. If you can't go on something forever, is it really worth it? You know what I mean? So, I mean, sometimes I have them try it and see for themselves, and they're like, you're right, I didn't have any energy on it. I lost weight. I lost a lot of weight, but I didn't feel any energy. And then I feel like when I go off of it, I'm going to be stuck. Like, what do I do now? You know? So we talk about how we can integrate those things back in as well once they've tried it initially. But yeah, I'm not going to say, no, you absolutely cannot do it. You just can't do it forever, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's people out there who are successfully teaching the keto diet and people who are doing it.
Yeah.
And
sure.
You know, it's medically feasible.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I mean, there's certain medical conditions that respond better to certain meal plans, like diabetes and low carb or keto. That's a great approach for diabetes, because that keeps the blood sugar down in a significant way. But there's a lot of other medical conditions that you don't need to go low carb to treat that medical condition.
Right. And if you're an athlete, or you're a really active kid or teenager, or you're, you know, working out all the time, you're going to find yourself in a really hard spot if you're going on one of those. And maybe they'll do it initially to lose weight, but they're going to find their performance in their sport isn't good. So it has to be tailored to the individual and realistic for their lifestyle. That's why I always talk about that first. What are you doing throughout the day for work? Are you moving a lot? You know, and how much are you working out? Once I know those things, I can really tailor it more to them with their nutrition.
So I said this before at the beginning too, as you're talking, I'm thinking perspective. What should people be thinking related to these meal plans and just how they should approach their food? And I keep coming back to this perspective about being mentally healthy around their decision for their meal plans and how they're going to interact with their food.
I agree with you. Mental health, so big these days. And if you aren't feeling good about what you're eating, you're definitely going to be feeling more of those feelings of depression and anxiety. There's studies linked to those things, and there's studies linked to also lots of inflammation in our bodies. In our gut area can cause a lot of depression too. So even feeding yourself the wrong things all the time, not knowing, oh, well, I feel like I'm healthy. I have 10 eggs a day, but your body doesn't like eggs. What if it doesn't like eggs and you're giving it 10 eggs a day, right? So you really have to pay attention to your body, because they're going to tell us a lot, and they're going to guide us kind of where to go with a dietitian's help, obviously. And so if you can get with a dietitian, that's going to be amazing for you, because if you find someone like me, we're going to walk alongside you. We're going to really hold your hand through the process, make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing it on your own, and you're learning from everything you're doing. So you're keeping a journal, you're staying accountable, you're doing all the right things. Sometimes people think, oh, I'll just go to a doctor, or, oh, I'll just go to the dietitian, and it magically will be fixed. It's like, no, you actually got to go home and do the things, that we talked about and we discussed. But the joy of food, if you can really come back to finding those things that work for your lifestyle and for your body, and fitting what you tie gratitude with and happiness with, and something that's really deep rooted into your culture. I think that if you can bring all those things together, that's going to be where the joy of eating really comes in.
I love your concept of including the family, making food fun for the family, making it a celebration of sorts, It's so memorable.
It really is.
I mean, obviously, my son's grown now and he's out of the country, missing his Thanksgiving dinner.
Aww.
But that was the one thing he wanted before he left home,
That brings tears to your eyes, I think. I see you tearing up, and that brings tears to my eyes just thinking about my kids and Thanksgiving, because
food can really be powerful.
It really can.
For our culture.
Such a special holiday. Thanksgiving is one of my favorites too, and I really love that your son did that. You did the August
Thanksgiving.
Funny it's awesome.
How much he loved that.
Yeah.
But I think we can achieve something like that with our families, and
for sure.
And food is so powerful as long as we let it come to us in that way,
Yeah.
Creating that culture, creating that experience.
It's so important. It's so important. And for the mental health, like you were saying, really a lot of people feel a lot better when they have that time with their family. Believe it or not, a lot of us get just so into these schedules. I have to work, I have to come home, I have to force myself to eat, I gotta go to bed. And they're forgetting that time with the family is so key and so important in brain development for the kids. It really develops the brain in the right way to have those experiences. So remember that next time you're like, nah, we're just not going to do dinner tonight. Get your own yogurt in the fridge and go to bed. It's like, no, let's, like I said, it doesn't have to be a 10-course meal, but, really trying to enjoy the eating together as a family is super important.
So we came up with this idea called the celebration of food activity.
Yes.
Is that what we called it?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is our invitation to everybody.
Yep. Here we go.
So tell them what we were thinking about with it.
So I think either you can go out to eat with your family and get a really, really good kind of meal that you enjoy, or even better yet, you can invite family and friends to the house and have everyone bring their own dish, something that they really, really like, that's maybe something culturally that they've made for years. Like my grandma made her chicken noodles. That was just something that I always wanted and always still want. So everyone brings their own thing, and then you write in the comments after kind of what that looked like for your family and encourage other people to do it. Maybe even write a journal entry about it and just say, this is, oh my goodness, I felt this way when we had these foods and when we were all together and we were sitting down and talking and enjoying the flavors of the food and the textures and the colors, and, you know, no pressure. It doesn't have to be, again, something gourmet, or it's just something from the heart that you really put love and time in that means something to you, I think. So.
Yeah, and like you said, you could even go out. I mean, you don't have to do something that's hard.
Right.
So creating this experience around food.
I love that idea.
Do it once and see how it feels.
Yeah. And then maybe hopefully it'll take on and it will start being something that you do once every month or once every few months, at least for once a year, but hopefully preferably more than that, because it is so important. And I'm talking about, you know, distant family too, not just your immediate family, you know, inviting grandma, uncle, best friends, you know, make it a big experience and a celebration.
Yeah, that one's a big deal. That's a lot of planning, but you know.
It's like a Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Maybe every few months.
So post your experience in the comments.
Yes.
It would be really great to see what everybody can come up with there.
Yeah.
So we actually have quite a few recipes on the Forte Facebook page. So anybody interested in some recipes, we have an overnight oats that I just made last night.
So good.
That was really good. And you can take that and make variations however you want.
I love that.
All of these recipes are really balanced. They're not like ultra healthy, you know, they're not like 1 gram of fat or totally keto or something
totally
like
fine.
that. But they're, you know, they're good.
And they're good for the joy of eating.
Yeah.
And that's what we really want to highlight. Because I think, again, so many times people just get in these ruts of, oh, I have to eat again. Oh, I have to feed my kids again. Oh, my gosh. So if we can make it more joyful.
Out of the rut.
Yes.
Of routine, you know, and making it fun again.
Got to make it fun.
And at the very least enjoyable. I mean, if you're going to eat, savor the flavor, right?
Savor the flavor.
And enjoy it.
Yep. And mindfully eat it. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Take a sip of water, put your fork down, take your time, slow down.
Let yourself get full.
Yeah.
Stop when you're full.
Exactly.
Yep.
You don't want to feel like you have to roll out of the parking lot. You know, you're so, oh my gosh, I can't even move. You don't want to get to that point. And even at Thanksgiving, I know that's a challenge, but, you know, at Thanksgiving, enjoy the foods and have fun, but challenge yourself not to get thirds and fourths and fifths of something, you know, really challenge yourself just to try a little bit of everything and make your plate really colorful and full of variety, and spend that time with your family and talking and enjoying and telling them what you're thankful for. I think I encourage you to do that too for Thanksgiving, but still you got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Got to enjoy it too.
So you guys might have different opinions. I would love to hear some comments. So if you think we should be all following a keto diet or carnivore or something else or low fat, post in your comments. I'd love to hear that. I just want to say again, like if you're recommended to follow a keto diet for medical reasons, you know, there's a lot of reasons to do that.
For sure.
And it's very effective.
Yeah, and it may not be for everybody, but if it's effective for some, then we will address that and we'll look into it.
And there's a ton of restrictive diets that, I mean, if you had to follow, you know, they are effective and they're healthy. But we want people to enjoy, have joy in eating.
We really do.
You know? So, but at the same time, following a plan that you can lose weight on if you need to lose weight. Manage your diabetes if you need to.
Right.
Maybe it's high blood pressure. Maybe it's mental health, actually. And if it's depression, there's specific diets that we recommend for that too.
Yeah.
So it can get very technical, but a lot of the concepts stay the same, where we really should follow some of these key concepts and make our eating fun again.
I think that's so important. I think we all need to do that. So challenge everyone in here listening to do that at home and to comment so that it could be kind of a fun community way to bounce ideas off of each other. And I've really enjoyed talking to you. This has been a really fun experience. Yeah. And I don't know, challenge you all to get more with your family, really put love into your cooking, to slow down and just to find that joy in eating again.
So if you guys want the summary of our podcast today, we're going to make a PDF and just respond in the comments, joy.
Perfect.
And we'll send you that PDF and you can have the summary of how to have joy in eating again.
Yeah. I love that.
So we would love to have you follow us on YouTube and check out any other social media. I have our pages with Forte, my medical practice, and also Dr. Doug. So the Dr. Doug podcast will be doing more episodes coming up. Would love to have you guys. And
thank you so
enjoy.
Much. Thank you so much again for having me.
Yeah.
Really fun night.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.